Coach, can you go over defensive performance from Saturday? I guess what stood out to you as positives?
Positively, we kind of toughened up and stopped the run game because that's a team that wanted to run the football and get some play action pass and try to create some big plays with number 3, the receiver, which is a big play receiver. So I think when we got him in a lot of negative situation plays, that helped us out on defense. I think that was a big factor in what we had to get done.
Coach, looking at Florida on film early on, what have you seen from them, especially a guy like DJ Lagway, and what kind of challenge does he present?
It's what they're doing up front, to be honest with you guys. I mean, they've coach, has done a great job of what they're doing. Is limited what they're trying to get done. They'll run team first. They're gonna try to pound the ball. They don't care if it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. They're trying to pound the football to create the 3rd and 3 to 5, so DJ don't have to do much. Now, would he launch it on 1st down and 10? He will launch it on 1st down and 10. But I think they're doing a great job of just simplifying a lot of things for him to be successful and their football team because, they got some running backs and they got some receivers. But they got an offensive line that's, if you look at it up front, they're kind of older guys up front. So they kind of gelling what and getting into their own little world now.
Ira, second row on your right.
You've been with this program now for a few years, but this was your first chance on Saturday to be the voice, I guess, on the sideline with the defensive players. Mm-hmm. What did you see from them? How did you feel like they responded to you?
They just went out and played the game. It wasn't a response. It's more of you play the game because you enjoy it. You play the game because you chose to do these things. And it's more of don't make this a job. Don't make this a situation where you have to like take it to another level, which you do, but not like at all cost. And I just told them, hey, don't let the negative plays control you. You control the negative plays. So if something happened negative in the game, control it. Early in the game, Earl got a roughing. Could have been a negative situation. Usually but they controlled the negative play and we got off the football field. With a 3rd and long play, 3rd and 18, they completed a pass. 2 plays later, we got an interception. So you control the negative play by being positive, and those guys did. I think that's how they responded to it.
Ashlyn Barker, when we spoke to him after the game, he said that you gave them some different things to work on when that first week, and he said it took a little bit of time to adjust. You can't probably speak specifically about that, but how receptive were they to learning something new this late in the season?
It's always you're trying to get things done, and it's like, well, we've been doing this for long, so it's a habit. But we had that open week to try to not break the habit, but give them some more tools to use where they can make it easier for them to make plays, easier for them to see certain things. And those, like the little technical things that we did, help those guys out. And it's all about the technical things, how you can help somebody. If somebody, every player on the football field gonna struggle some way, form, or fashion. When that happens, you got to give him something where he can feel relief that I'm getting help and not just I'm alone. Because it's not always about your calls. It's about what the guys can execute and what they can do. And in all my years, somebody struggles, you give them a little help, and then they'll get back on track.
Coach, one particular player, Sean Murphy, who only played 3 games, this was his 3rd game in, and seeing how he performed, see what he brought on. Well, thoughts about his performance?
Sean's been picking it up pretty well. He's been out for most of the season. He's we've been nicked up at that position, but now Sean is getting into a role. We got a rotation at linebacker. Sean's one of the guys. He shows some physicality up front, running, knocking people back, and doing a lot of good things for us. But like anything else, it's really his true time really playing football. So we expect a lot of great things out of him. He's done a great job of coming back, being physical, having fun with it, getting lined up, getting guys lined up. Because when you out, one thing Murph did, he was with us the whole time. And he was in the meeting rooms. He was making the calls verbally, even when he wasn't playing. I say, call the strength call. He would say it. All right, what's the check? He would say it. So even though the other guys in the room would say it, Murph put his mind into doing those things.
Yeah, you personally have been through so many different situations, but this team, a lot of these guys are going through this for the first time, especially having a losing season. Mm-hmm. How much of the struggles as you've coached these guys have been on the mental side versus the physical side in terms of handling adversity and things like that?
Well, you make football is one of the best things about playing football because you can build character, and there's a lot of situations that you will have to go through in life that can relate to football. It's going to be some tough times where you're going like, whoa, woe is me. And I told them guys, like, this is an opportunity, but you're going to learn from every mistake that you make. And it's going to be some point in time in your life that everything's going to be like bad, 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 bad. And then it's going to be how you're going to fight to get out of it. And the only thing you can do is just keep going and keep pushing the pedal and not let it defeat you. You defeat it. And that's all I talk all about all the time. I preach the same things over and over and over so those guys can have an opportunity to get out of what they're doing. Don't look at the negative, always look at the positive. If something always happens negative, it's nothing really negative in life because you can always, like I told guys, if you lose your job once you leave Florida State and you have a job and you get fired, you can always go get another job. But if you dwell on losing your job, what's going to happen? So the opportunity is always going to be there. You just have to respond to it and make the things best for you.
Stay on your right, Corey.
You've been a part of this rivalry, obviously the Miami-Florida State rivalry, some of the best rivalries in college football history. Saturday night, what do you expect that environment to do for your team and your players?
It's all going to come down on the football field. I mean, the environment's going to be the environment. It's always the rivalry games, the crowd, the fans, the stands. It's always electrifying and everything else. But you have to do as a player, don't get caught in the verse of getting the stands. All the theatrics, the excitement, the fun, the family's going to be there, everybody. The biggest thing, you have to just concentrate what happens on the football field. And don't get into one-on-one battles. That's the one biggest thing that you cannot get into when you have a rivalry game, the one-on-one battles, me against that guy. Because eventually somebody's going to shove, push, and all of a sudden flags going to come off, and then officials have to take control of the game. Play the game with what you normally do and be the best that you can be, but don't get into the one-on-one battles.
Aslan, back right.
What sort of conversations have you had with Coach Norvell about your future, and do you still want to be an on-field coach?
We never talk about that. It's one thing I'll never do. I never talk about any position that I've ever been in. When I was at Florida, when I was at Miami, you have to do your job and just keep it moving. You don't worry about the future, just worry about what's in the present right now. And that's all I've ever talked about was the present. We never talked about, you can talk about all those things, but that ain't me. I mean, when I took over at Florida, the only thing that mattered was trying to get wins. When Hype left Central Florida, I had 2 weeks. I had to keep the guys going. That's all that matters. You don't worry about the outside circumstances. Just do your job and have fun doing it.
Any temptation late in that game to put the older guys back in? And
No.
what did it do for the young guys to get those snaps?
No, it's good for the young guys to get their reps and understanding what's going on. Selfishly, a lot of times coaches get involved like, I get a shutout. It's all about the kids playing and opportunities for them to get opportunities to play the game. And I've never been that type of person, never been that way. You can lose a shutout, oh well, you lost a shutout. But you give some other guys experience, and then sometimes if you play kids late that are veterans sometimes, and then all of a sudden you up by 30, up by 40, and then a veteran get hurt. Now how you gonna feel? You can't get into those things. You just got to keep going and keep it moving.
Anything else for Ray? Let's go one more for Ira here.
Just because we haven't talked to you that much. The college football's changed so much. We've talked so much about how much it's changed with the NIL and the transfer portal and all that. I was just curious your perspective. You've been in the game so long, seen it as a player and as a coach at different schools. Is it different now in terms of the kids and game day? Is it any different?
It's different. It's different from the standpoint of you got to make sure that you get the right type of kids that want to win games. The money's the money, but you got to have somebody that's going to come in that is going to treat now it's work. This is not coming to play football. This is not to go to practice. This is work now because whatever it is with the money, it is a job now. It is a work. And you have to show up every day to perform at a high level. You got to show up every day on game day at a high level. If you nicked, you injured, you have to go in there 3 times a week, 3 times a day. If you in the weight room, get extra weight room work. It's your body that you have to be involved in. And I think that's the one thing that I don't think the young guys understand. The real good ones, the ones who made that transition, because they treat it as a work. They treat it as a job. They don't treat it as, oh, I'm just going to practice. Oh, I'm just going to have fun. It's having fun, but you treat it as a job. And a lot of times those are the most successful guys that you will see. And you got to find those guys in the portal. You got to find those guys in high school that understand when you get in these type of situations now, it is a job. But you have to do your job and not make it a practice or make it just, oh, I can miss weights today. Those things don't happen. Because if in the real world you have a job, you're going to get fined. And if you do it too much, you're going to get cut in NFL or you're going to get fired. So those are things that they got to understand.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right. See you guys later. Thank you, guys.